the page thinking
yeah,
that
man, I got
something
my
was
little
going to be
Olivia
uploaded.
Pope saving the world today going on. You know.
You ready?
Saving the world with what?
You ready?
The
From y'all.
Raiders? Of course.
Okay.
We gonna need the Black Pew stickers.
Is it gonna be like
so we can start
Right, on some
branding.
cups.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I was saying, like a lot of branding when you do.
Man, I need me a
I
Black
need a
Pew
great
Crew
at that.
hoodie. That's what I need.
I can get those done.
The white one with the Black
I
Pew
do need a
on it.
hood. I need
Can we use that
I
logo?
just
Can
need
you send me
hoodies.
the logo? And I
I
can.
got somebody else redoing it. I got somebody else doing making it a little bit better.
But can we still use that? Is it going to be the
You can
same
still
look?
use that one, but it doesn't look good to me. I mean, it doesn't look like.
High quality.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it looks like.
Well, when
So
you
you're
do
just
have
saying
it
it's
done-
grainy?
Huh?
Are you saying it's grainy or are they going to redo the concept?
He's just gonna make it pop a little more.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just gonna make it pop a little more.
Get the Black Pew
Well-
chains.
I'm going to get the pinky ring.
Like,
Hey, that would be hard. Like black pews though. That would be dope.
yeah,
You know what I'm
that's what I'm thinking is that would be pretty cool just to have the pew be a symbol.
Well, I got some people that make sweatshirts. Actually, she's the one that made this one too. But
Oh, that's a nice one. Who's Karen though?
Karen,
The white
You
chick.
Don't
know
even
what Karen
ask
is.
that. You
You're
just
Karen. Ooh, she going hard. I didn't even see that.
you are.
Yeah, I
going
know.
hard.
As soon as I seen Karen, I already knew what it
know.
I
was.
didn't even see it.
you must not be following me because I said a whole lot
I
about
be seeing-
Karens this week.
I be Karen.
She did
too.
say you
I
was saying something about
Oh, I
some
didn't see.
Karen.
I didn't see it.
You
My
don't even want-
my feed be all
You
over
don't
the
even want to know the
place.
story of what had happened.
On the Facebook? Is she
My feed-
on the
my feed- my
Facebook
feed
and
be on the
everything?
Facebook.
I hope we catching this right now. I hope we rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, but
We need that. That's some good.
y'all
B-roll.
tuned into the Black Pew Podcast. The whole crew is here today. Since this is the first time we've been together, everybody introduce themselves. My name is Trey. Just to get out the way, that rhymed. I know. But go ahead.
What these tickets want from my brother?
No,
Somebody let me know.
it's too soon.
Small.
It's not. It's fine.
it's too soon.
I got my mask on. y'all. I'm future now. That's what I'm future. Mask off.
Mask.
Oh, Sharp. What's up, y'all?
Kendra.
Kendra, you didn't introduce yourself.
I did.
I just did
Kendra, hey.
I'm just Alicia.
We can't hear you.
I know you can hear me. It's in my mouth, literally. I'm
y'all
right
did
here.
me like that. See, when I did the whole, it's Marvel. Oh, y'all trying to be Rico Suave and stuff. We know you louder than that, Lisa. Come on.
I mean, I'm not.
Bring
I'm
it from
cool
the
right
under
now.
room
Just
to the upper room.
just let me be chill right now. Just let
Okay.
me be great.
All right.
I'm
My bad.
gonna stay chill.
Let you sharpen
I
your
got
nails
you.
over there.
I got you.
apologize.
Before we get into it, R.I.P. DMX. That's. I mean, it's a few words. Like we all grew up with him, and you grew up with his music. After that, he didn't have a ton of albums, but like the albums that he did have were super impactful to hip hop. Like in his latter years, he didn't have as much music, but just the music he had, just the presence he had. I seen something today. Somebody said that he was like this. He was like the embodiment of Tupac.
That's what he was East Coast Tupac.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Tupac were the only ones that were able to drop 2 albums in the same year and then both go, multi-platinum. So,
Crazy. Yeah.
I mean that speaks volumes too. The only reason why is because I think because the way that they understood duality, and so the way that their music was who they were.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to decipher what DMX was going through or who DMX was. It was in his body of work, that's why he was like a lyrical genius to me, a savant in that area. So, regardless of what he went on in his personal life, he was able to project that in his music in a way to that is going to become timeless. I mean, and that's just what it is.
It is, man. Like
It is timeless. Absolutely.
I mean, but that could be argued up until this week, because the thing is up until this week he could have just been generational.
Yeah.
But now it's timeless because now you dig deeper into who DMX was.
Right.
It's not about just DMX the artist, and that's what makes their music timeless.
Yeah.
I think he got like a new album coming out too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because he was working on some stuff with Swiss.
And Pop Smoke and
Yep.
a whole bunch of Griselda. Nah, man, X influenced me majorly. Like my first 2 albums, I got acapella verses at the very end because of what X did. Like, you know what I'm saying? He gave me that concept, and just even like earlier stuff, like I had the gruff in my voice, like him, like I wanted to model his style, the way he performed, like all of that, you know. And so I just feel like one of the first people that came to mind for me was Swiss Beats, and just how he was feeling. I don't know why I was thinking like that, but I was just like, man, I know Swiss is hurt, but Swiss said it. He gave an example of like X writing his music in an abandoned building when he had $30 million in the bank. Yeah. So it was never about the money for him. You know,
He was always hungry.
Yeah, and always just a pure artist, and he was really for the people.
Just his passion.
Yeah, so, and I mean, also a man of God. You
Yeah,
know?
definitely.
That's nothing to,
People don't talk about
Yeah.
that much. He was very
Yeah.
religious. He was very spiritual.
Yeah.
You would say, you know, and he always exuded that too. Like, I mean, especially in freestyles, acapellas. You know, he prayed. He
Yeah,
rap
at the
prayed.
show.
You know,
Yeah.
like he
Right.
rap
Yeah.
prayed. You know, just to be able to do that. You know. To merge your belief into your music that way, to serenade your shows that way, you know, it kind of helps people understand where you've established your life. At the same time, they always say, you know, the bigger you are, the bigger your devil, you know, demon. And so the thing is, we see X, and sometimes we were like, X, what you doing, bro? The rental car, I like the FBI, man. What's wrong with you, X? But you have to realize that, you know, at his height, the things that, even though he gave us a lot of him, there was a lot of battles that he had to go through just to give us that. You know,
demons was real, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always getting, like, there was one point we would always see him in the news about once a month, getting arrested and going to jail. And then you were like,
So Swiss said something key about
he
that.
was Cat Williams before Cat Williams.
Yeah.
But Swiss said that X went to jail to be free. So I think a lot of the times,
but that's true.
yeah,
Because a lot of people don't understand freedom outside, the ability to do whatever you want to, and sometimes people have to be in a confined lifestyle, you know,
Stay down
under
here.
a certain type of rule, and being able to tell when you go to bed and when you eat, and you have to have that structure in your lifestyle, because outside here it can be chaotic, and some of those people who are institutionalized mindsets have institutionalized mindsets go wild out here because they understand this, that they feel like it's almost like Grand Theft Auto to them, endless possibilities, you know.
no, that's true. And I can see that in the fact that he has structure, and then when he gets out, you got people who will enable you to death. They will say, hey, let's party, and hey, go get me such and such. Okay, cool. There's somebody who will enable you to do whatever you want, no matter how much money you got. And we've seen that in plenty of stars before. So in his case, it wouldn't have been no different.
In 2003, he did an interview, and it was they were asking him about like what it took to do the 2 albums in the year, 98, and he was just saying like it was a different hunger that people had for rap at that time, and he was like, when they told me that they would give me $1 million bonus to drop this other album, and he was like, man, boom. He said, I felt like he felt like I shortchanged y'all with 19 on the first one, but I'm finna turn around and drop the second one for that bonus.
I don't care what nobody say. It's dark and hell's hot. Classic.
Classic.
Yes, yeah.
Classic.
And he did that in the same year.
Bruh.
I mean, people don't do that. People have tried to do that.
We hadn't heard nothing like that, bro. We ain't heard nothing like that, man. And I think there's so many styles that got fathered as a result of that, you know.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
homage to the legend, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
R.I.P. DMX.
True.
Man X.
But then last week we had Lil Nas X.
Oh, Jesus. Y'all getting the
Now-
same shoes? Did
now-
y'all get them? Y'all
now,
feel the
okay.
book?
I'm about to try to find a Jesus kicks just on a spike.
Let's be honest. Those black ones was cold. You gotta be honest with them.
I'm praying for you, Trey.
And
I'm
say
praying for you, Trey.
those shoes was cold.
With the blood in them?
with the blood, with the drop of blood. I don't
close my
care for the
eyes.
blood, but I do
walk.
care that they were. That's a cold color.
Black and
That
red.
red was a cold color.
Man, that,
You know,
That's why I like this shirt.
I'll tell you.
crazy, bro.
I'll tell you.
That was crazy.
I'll put it this way. Jay-Z's dropped Lucifer. I listened to the track. Loved it. I ain't even gonna lie. Classic.
It was hard. It was.
Classic. He lost me at the human blood. When he put the human blood in the shoe, that's where Lil Nas X lost me. He could have made the shoe and it would just a red dye in the bottom. I probably would have been with that. I probably would have said, you know what, Lil Nas X, I see you with your marketability. When they put the human blood into that's when it's like, dude, this is some old sacrifice type stuff. 666.
He lost me.
You lost me.
He lost me with the Satan shoe, bro. The whole.
I like
what's
it.
the joint
I
called?
like
the,
it.
The what
Come
is it?
on, don't act like we now have levels to how crazy we can get. Let's not talk about now that WAP
told
coming
you she
out,
know they're
me
sharpening
saying
the towel.
I got some wet ass, da 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 da. You telling me we could do that, but it's not okay to put some blood in the shoe. If you go market.
No, but see, that's my thing.
Drop some blood in there. Y'all take it. Don't act like
the blood in the shoe takes me to more like human sacrifice type level.
Are we scared about human sacrifice? But we'll watch our
And
young girls be
entertaining it, I
sacrificed.
would
We'll
entertain
watch
it,
our
yes.
young girls be sacrificed all the time. But let's not
watch
really
little
talk
girls be
about the stuff
sacrificed.
that, because the church, we get really scared when it comes to talking about those type of things. Like scared, even when it gets to like the tarot card readers.
See, I wore white today. This is why I wore white today.
Whatever. Don't get down on me if you can't.
Say the word.
But even when it comes to anything demonic, we get more, no, we're not going to touch that. Then we're like, what is that versus what we're already seeing? The demon behavior is already present. Let's not put let's not get scared when we put blood on it.
Go ahead.
He was creative. He's trifling. What was the song he did that was so big?
But
it's the
Old
one.
Town Road.
Were we offended by that though?
I was. I
didn't know what side he was on there.
I hated when people sang the song. I was tired of that song.
How do you not know?
That's putting a clear stamp on it.
I don't even know the lyrics to
nigga,
Old
step
Town Road.
aside, nigga, this is what I'm doing. Like, that's exactly
But
what
we
that
didn't see it.
was.
We didn't see it from the song.
I
don't know why we're surprised.
I didn't know he wore a hat
I
like
didn't know about
Woody
the
and
song.
Billy Ray Cyrus was in it. That's all I know about
I didn't
Old
watch
Town
the
Road.
video. I heard the song.
I'm
Like,
just
you know what
saying,
I'm saying?
people should have shown us
But
where
what was
they
in the
at
song
already.
though that made you see? Was it like occultic stuff in
No,
the
I'm
song?
not even saying cultic. I'm just saying it's not a very blurred line.
what they
Like
talked
you're
about-
either on his side or you're not
When
on
they
his
talked
side.
about, they supposedly talked about popping pills and drinking lean because that's what he said. Old Town Road was a subliminal of Old Town Road.
Was
He
it?
came out and
I
said
didn't know
that
nothing about
because see,
that.
that was his outrage of it. He said, "Well, everybody's outraged right now, but y'all let y'all kids listen to Old Town Road, and this was the subliminal of Old Town Road." That was his response. But this is my thing. My thing is, I don't care what you do to a certain extent. When you start to take your platform to promote things like human sacrifice, things of that nature, satanic behavior, things of that nature, that's when I'm out. I don't care what society, hold on, I don't care what society has to think about it, but personally, Marvin, I exit. I exit.
I
And
don't
I exit
understand
stage
how
left.
we choose when it's satanic. If your
Well,
tail
the
is
man
popping with
the man
oil
got a
on
video
it
of
on
him
top
having
of
sex with Satan.
Wait a second, though.
I'm trying to tell you. And then he
on
dropped a
top-
shoe with human
There
blood
goes
in
that
it.
Dave
666.
Chappelle. There he goes. Right
Okay.
When Dave comes in the
White,
building,
Olivia Pope. I mean, white.
When
I mean,
Dave
say the
comes
word.
in the building, I have to acknowledge his presence. So I will
I-
stop. I will stop for Dave.
I actually have.
But what I'm saying-
I actually have. Dave actually have
He's
Tiffany
not watching.
Haddish quote
He's
of
not
Dave
watching.
saying her saying Dave
This
is
is
the GOAT. Greatest of all time. I just want to throw that in there.
But you gotta say that there's levels to this.
I
though.
mean, I think
wait.
I don't get levels.
No. There's definitely levels. Like for you to we talking about the wet ass pussy, whatever. Okay, that's okay. I get that. I understand. There is a demonic influence on that. When you outright say the prince of this world is God, and you're putting out something that directly promotes that. That's a whole different realm. Like you're blatant at this point.
But we're comfortable with it being passive. I just want to, because
No.
I'm
not comfortable with none of it. I'm just saying the level of it. Like there's
You're
that's
talking
a
to people who
whole
weren't Lil
different.
Nas X fans from Old Town Road. I obviously he didn't even listen to the song. I didn't even like Old Town Road. My only thing about Lil Nas X, when he came out and said that he was homosexual, I was like, you know what? I applaud you for that because that's living your truth.
But so
but
is
once he,
it's gotten
no, no,
so
no,
comfortable.
90%
So
of
I
the
don't
music
wanna-
industry.
no. So what I'm saying is, but him coming out, and owning that, I'm like, because it's hard for some people to live their truth.
But he's
I
living
applaud
his
that.
truth
No,
now.
I applaud that. But when you turn around and you start humping the devil
But that's
and
his
making
truth.
and making devil sneakers, I'm like, bruh, okay.
He can't live his truth now?
But I think
only if it makes you
I know
comfortable?
homosexual people in the church, so that's what I'm saying. You can live your
That's
truth and
his
still be in the
truth.
church.
But I think that-
And
but
I'm-
I
You
think
can
that
live your
part-
truth and still be in the church.
and I'm cool.
We all know
and
that.
I'm cool.
Live
And
your
I'm cool
truth,
with that.
still be
And
in
I'm
church.
cool with that being your truth. But that's where our conversation stops. You can stay in your truth, but I'm not walking in that
You're
path.
not supporting.
But
I'm
I think
not-
that-
You
but I
only
think he
choose
was-
which ones. You'll
but-
only choose which demonic or which like sinful natures you'll allow, right?
I mean, if it's blatant,
Oh,
that's
okay.
blatant.
Yeah, well, just
If
don't be
it's
blatant. Just
okay,
keep it under-
check this out. If
just
somebody
keep it
blatantly,
under,
if
and
somebody
it's
blatantly
cool.
walked up and smacked me in my face, I'm blatantly smacking them back. Okay, I'm just telling you,
Turn the
everywhere
other
wrong.
cheek.
Blatant,
Turn the
you
other
know?
cheek.
But if they say something to me and I gotta decipher it, I'm not gonna immediately just go back at them because I still have to decipher what they mean. This is a blatant attempt to say I worship something that you don't. And I worship the opposite of what he worships, so that's where we split.
People
But then
have
he
said
was,
that
but
they
then
show
he
it
was
to us
saying
all
he
the
was
time.
trolling. But him saying like basically
Nah,
he was
bro.
trolling.
You don't play with that though, bro.
but-
you don't play with
don't-
that.
But yeah, yes,
That's all.
we say
The
we don't
church
play with that.
because we're scared of it.
But
I ain't
No,
scared.
I'm not
No, I'm
scared
not
of it.
saying you guys are scared of it. I'm
But
saying
yeah,
the church as a
but-
whole,
but
we
the
don't
church
talk
is-
about
we-
this kind of stuff.
we don't.
Oh,
And
of course,
like,
that's why we talk about this kind of stuff.
yeah.
No, I think certain. I think
this
certain.
platform is
I mean, you talking about the church? Are we talking about the ecclesia, the body of Christ, or are we talking about the institution?
She talking about the institution
I
where you
ain't
sit down
talking
in the
about
pew
that.
and
I'm
you
talking
listen
about
across the
ecclesia
pulpit.
deals with- The ecclesia deal with
Now,
this.
that's completely different from what we see the churches, like the traditional churches. What is now?
But we can't
now
dictate
current.
from what we see man
I'm
do
not
from what the whole what the actual the whole divine nature of it is. And so a man could be a man could be he could be the most godliest man. He still has flaws when he talking across that
Absolutely.
pulpit. So I'm not holding the institution up and saying what they say is what I believe in. What I'm saying is I'm holding up the truth, and I'm matching what somebody else is doing to the actual truth, and what he's doing is defying what I believe is actual truth. Do I continue to entertain that? No, this is not. I'm not walking down that Old Town Road.
All I'm trying to clearly say,
No pun intended.
all I was trying to say is I think that we play it safe by making there be levels to it, and I don't think there are levels to it. I think that wrong is wrong and right is right.
That's true.
But there's
That's
some things
true,
that make
but-
us comfortable,
That's
and we'll
true.
tolerate them until they're non-tolerable. So I just say shouts out
That's
to him.
true.
He's obviously out there. Like a lot of artists are, but again, until they show us and slap us in the face and stuff, we'll support them. So I mean,
Well,
he's
he
doing a
slapped me in
mark.
the face.
He's crazy. I mean,
But then
obviously,
if-
but
I don't
he's
even know
seen
the
it
track is
before.
called.
But then if
But
he
he slapped me in the
said,
face.
what if he came back and said,
I was just playing.
I was just playing, because that's what kind of he did.
No, if he come back and tell me
what if
I don't
he said-
believe in this, I believe that this is what I believe, and I believe in the whole church, and I'll say, you know what, Lil Nas X, I forgive you for that little misstep you take, because that's what I believe in is all about, is forgive and give, so it is my job to forgive people when they do mistake, and especially when they have a conviction in themselves. Now, to you, I forgive you for what you did, but I still can't entertain you. So that's the thing. I can't walk down this road
Are
with you.
his shoes still
I
out
could.
there? Are the shoes still on
No,
the market?
Nike.
No, Nike took
Nike
them. Nike took
Nike
Porter.
sued- yeah,
They
Nike-
sued
them.
them.
I think you can get reimbursed.
They did. They all sold.
Yeah,
They sold.
They
I
sold
knew
606 of them.
I knew they was gonna sell them.
Yeah.
They sold 666
He
of them.
doesn't care because he really
Well,
doesn't
Nike-
care.
I know.
Nike
It was a
sold
He
them.
market.
doesn't care what we think because we weren't gonna buy them.
But it doesn't even matter. He don't care what
people-
nobody think because he made money regardless. So that's the
Yeah.
thing. I get that. But what I'm trying to say is if you're doing it for a marketing scheme, that's still out of bounds, because it's like in a courtroom. When they say objection, even if the judge says sustain, a lot of times the lawyer says that because the jury can't erase what they heard from that mouth. So him just putting a stamp of approval on that, he could say it's a joke. There's going to be some people that say I'm still on this side,
And he
because
still
he
doesn't
already put that
care.
body of work out.
I don't agree with him.
That's what's
I don't agree
irresponsible
with
about
him.
him.
I
That's
don't
what's
agree with
irresponsible
him.
about, because he doesn't care.
But he
But
doesn't- so he just won.
he doesn't care about the way his influence is. He has the ability to influence people. So what I'm going to tell you to do is one day I'm going to tell you to be satanic, and I'm going to tell you to do this. If I come out and say I'm playing, if you stay over there, that's on you. How responsible is that to have that platform and do that? I can't apply that.
There's no-
I said I ain't walking down that
I
old down road. I
he
ain't
said
doing
I-
it.
he said I didn't
He
want-
can
he
walk
didn't
by
ask for that
himself. Him and Billy
responsibility.
Ray Cyrus and maybe Miley
I'll
Ray
stay on
Cyrus
that.
is with them.
I'll stay
I
on
don't know.
that.
Maybe
He
she
didn't ask
turned
for
into
the
maybe she
responsibility.
turned
He
into
didn't want
Hannah
your kids
Montana on the
role
Old Town
model.
Road. They said they doing pills and sipping
He
legs.
said,
She's
be your
probably
own kid's
Hannah
role
Montana.
model.
But I'm telling you, they
But
wild.
I think there's a point to that where she's saying that we let some of these musicians be their role models until we see something that we're like, oh no, they can't do that. They can't grow as a person, as an artist. And where does the responsibility for us? Because I think in the Lil Nas X, the whole thing is where does our responsibility for what our kids see end? And where is it fall? Where does it fall on us versus them? Because
I'm about to clear this up.
No, because I think when we were younger, there was some stuff we couldn't see, but we ended up seeing it anyway.
Right.
Exactly.
And listening to
And there's some stuff that the kids now, you can't escape it. Like, even if you cut off the whole internet from your kids, it's still.
I think
So
there's
there's-
just a
You
fine
would have still
line in
seen him on
supporting
Sesame
it.
Street.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is there's
Right.
a responsibility.
Well, I don't know about
There's a
Sesame
responsibility on parents to educate their kids on what entertainment is. The reason I see things the way it is, and I always take it back to my childhood. The first CD that my parents heard about me was E40 and the Click and H-Town, explicit version. You know, I'm a kid. We geeked, and before we even played it, my parents said, "Check this out. We want you to help you understand that there's a level of entertainment to this. Like, some things are experienced, some are not. You may eventually see videos, you'll see cars, you'll see jewels, you'll see all this. Some of this is fake. You know, there's an entertainment value that comes to this.
We're also
and so
a different generation. I
But
can't
no,
let
it
you-
doesn't.
yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. One thing I understood was whatever I seen on the TV, there was a fallacy to that.
You
Hold on,
understood that. There are young people that
Time
are
out,
killing.
time out,
They're
time out.
killing each other. Young
Time
14-year-old
out,
girls.
time
No,
out,
because you're
time
talking
out.
about a generation.
Let me
that's
help
not
you
even-
understand. That's what I'm saying. There is a level of responsibility for you to educate at a certain degree. What somebody does with that education ain't on you. But once you educate them, you can't say that you have now not done your job. See, now when you decide to just let it be and not educate them, that's when you are at fault. Because you left it to the hands of the people who have the power to influence. See, the thing is, the reason they have the power to influence is because that's why these genres never die. Dave Chappelle was listening to Richard Pryor, which what influenced him. Richard Pryor was listening
Back
to somebody
up,
else. That's what
back
influenced
up.
him. No,
Come
what I'm
on,
saying
Marv.
is that Lil Nas X was probably listening to Nas. That's what influenced him. Nas was probably listening to Kumo D. That's what influenced him.
Nas.
So that's not what I'm saying is.
No,
What I'm
I
saying is
that
through
was a side
generations.
note.
What I'm saying is through generations, these platforms have always inspired other people to be on these platforms, and so we let people listen to them because these are the tools that can inspire them to be great. But at the same time, they have to be educated into what they're hearing, because if they are not, they are just going to let it, because our ears and our eyes are DVRs. You'll just record it and take it for as it is. Instead of understanding the entertainment value, you'll have the shock value to when you up and stand in the real life and you actually act out on the things that you see on TV.
But that's gonna
understood all
happen
that.
anyway.
That
Regardless,
goes,
but that's what I'm saying.
That's
It's
just
still
like
education.
the Cardi B.
People don't know if they're not.
that goes without
Girls
saying is
doing
what
all
I'm
their
But if you're not
saying.
educated-
What you're saying, it goes without
The
saying.
Bible
I
says
agree.
teach.
You're
Teach
just saying, okay.
The Bible says teach a child up, right? Because a child can
I
go left.
already agree with
A
what
child
you're
is going to go
saying.
left. They're going to go left. But if you've never educated them, they don't know how to go back right. And so that's the thing. What I'm trying
That's
to tell
the problem in this generation now.
you don't
too, is
educate them.
The parents
think
are
that's
less
every
involved than they were.
Exactly.
It's not
but,
even the
but
fact
it's
that
very
they're-
prevalent here.
It's not even fact that you're not educating your children, because I believe that we all educate our children that this is entertainment. What I'm saying is that this generation is even more, I don't want to say soft, but they're much more susceptible.
everybody get in
They don't
trouble.
That's because
everything
it's
that
everywhere.
they
Everybody
see
get in
is
trouble.
video.
You can't-
So what I'm saying is not that
Parent control everything.
not that you're wrong or we don't educate them. Obviously, we educate them, but it's to say we're up against way more, and it's even more important to be in their faces.
I think everybody just wants to play God. And
No,
what I'm
it's
saying
not.
is this is what I'm saying is you educate people, but there is going to become everybody has a fork in the road moment. Your
Their
job is just
consequences are greater than ours
but all
were.
I'm saying is your job is just to educate. You can't force nobody to do anything. Everybody's walk is their own, regardless of what you believe in or how you walk. You educate, and it comes time to them make a decision. What they do is they take the knowledge that they've collected from everything, and then they make a decision. We can't do no more than that. But you can't complain if you ain't educating. Because if you ain't educating, they ain't got nothing to stand on in the first place.
Right.
That's the problem.
I agree to that.
The other thing too is like, I mean, going back specifically to Lil Nas X, like I never saw him as a role model in the first place. Now I know there's some kids that would look at that, but I'm like, he had a smash hit I don't care. Everybody and their grandmama was singing that song. It was just
Not
out. It
everybody.
was so
They were
prevalent.
They were playing it in the schools.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
was. They was though. They
Yeah,
was.
I was at a few of my kids' assemblies
going
playing
to
that.
school,
Singing it.
and singing the song in cowboy boots.
So the,
Right.
the role model thing was just that kind of missed me. I was like, he was never a role. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not.
But for younger kids that can relate to him at that age.
That's what we don't understand. As soon as these people take these spotlights, they're already role models, regardless of what they believe or not.
True.
And so that's why I say it's important on us to educate, because once they get the platform and they have the power to influence, they're role models, regardless on if they signed up for it or not. And so if you do not educate and let people understand, like Lil Nas X is an entertainer, he might stretch the truth. He might cross the line because that all goes to his market value. Like helping people understand that. Then they're looking at it more like, you know what? Like me, I ain't watching that Lil Nas X video. I know what he's trying to do, but I don't believe in that. You feel me? Give me something better. I might rock with you. But if you were, I'm not doing it. Yeah. And so that's the thing. It comes to the point where you make the conscious decisions because of the information that you have. See, I have the information to see a little bit of a clip. I see him giving Satan a lap dance. I ain't watching that. You feel me? You wildin'. Because the information that I have.
But we've made him relevant for 40 minutes, so I mean,
I ain't mad
it's a mute point now.
Cool, yeah.
Topic.
That's what happened when you shut
It's
it
not
down.
more than
Lift
any-
your pop, you feel me?
No, I mean, you just talked for about 30 minutes, you know, wasn't
Shut it down.
Good point.
He's like half of our ages. I mean, you know, little kid.
Poking at you. That's all.
You ain't poking at me, you know.
He's just like,
Y'all is wild.
You start getting that shit going.
That's why we the Black Pew Crew. We the wild bunch.
But no, I think like to wrap the whole thing up, I think you're right when you say it's our job to educate them to a certain extent. But I think also it's different eras. Different eras have different points of education. Like when we were coming up, we didn't really have somebody sitting with us saying, "Hey, Little Kim or Foxy or none of them." Like
right.
part of what they do is this, and part of what they do is this. Versus what you're saying, like the conversation about Lil Nas X, saying, "Hey, part of what he does is an entertainment. Part of what all this is an entertainment package that's pitched to us on social media and all this stuff." And I think we seen it as we had our parents. They were just like, "That's not cool. Leave it alone. You're not gonna watch that."
And
now they have outlets everywhere. Internet is everywhere. Oh, and we just had cassette tapes.
And we act like
and
it's
maybe
not
the radio.
We act like it's not real life, and we say things like, "Oh, it's just entertainment," and that's what we're saying. We're teaching our kids, but it's not just entertainment. That's what they live and breathe. That's who they are. All they are is some image on Instagram. All they are is a Facebook post or a Snapchat or whatever. All they're like when we were growing up and they had the real world. Like we were old enough, I think, to say, "Oh, that's kind of fake, but that seems cool."
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now it's not like that. These kids are buying things, assuming that some rapper or some, hot girl really has that. That stuff is on credit,
Exactly,
or that's
because
if they
that's
don't
what-
own it. However, there is not. When we were growing up, it was easier to say from your 2-bedroom apartment that is a different life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, parents are working their tails off so that life is these kids' reality. We can't say that anymore.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. See, my dad, he was part of that 300 band that Hammer had. So he understood the part of the entertainment value that some of these dudes be acting like they got a lot of stuff. What I'm talking about? And they broke. I'm gonna tell you something. I used to see E40 on the video, but I also used to see, because I'm from the Bay Area, so I would see E40 driving around selling CDs out the trunk of his car because he hadn't made it yet. But the thing was, he had to put on the image that he making. See, some of these dudes are sitting around and they're thinking about what's the best thing to write to bring people in, because what they're trying to do is build a crowd to influence. And then once they get that, that's when they usually try to give you their real content. So what I'm saying is, as soon as you put something out to gain influence, whatever you put out next is going to leave a mark on society. And my thing is regardless of what, I understand everybody's house is different. I didn't grow up in a church house. My mom was a hippie. You feel me? And so the way she looked at the world was like, she was like, I'm a realist. And so when she gave me the music, it was to say, hey, this is the realism of this situation. It wasn't saying, oh, this is what God has designed for you. No, this is what's real. This is real. These guys are probably broke, but they're trying to flaunt like they rich. They want you to buy into the narrative, but they're not even that yet. And so the thing is a lot of us, we buy into the narrative, but for us, the narrative narrative, and then we make them what they said that they were because of the level of influence of that. It is our ability to educate these kids on who they buy into and what these people are selling, and be cautious of what people are selling.
I'm saying that they're so inundated with it as a culture that what you're saying is almost unreasonable. It's reasonable for when we were younger.
It's reasonable for a parent to tell a child 5 minutes conversation. Be careful what you taking in entertainment value. There's a lot of things that aren't real on TV, Snapchat, TikTok. That's hard.
No.
I'm saying it's closer. I'm saying it's not hard at all. It's obvious. Are you going to listen to me? Because I'm listening to you. I'm not telling you that it's not hard. I mean, that it's not doable. What I'm saying is, from 1980s to 1990s, that separation between what is real and what is fake was a lot greater. So in 2020, that type of thing is accessible to them. So it's harder to say, if you let them post on Instagram all day and they're Snapchatting, their life is all about imagery and what looks good. That was not our world. Our world, wait a second, they can be exposed to celebrities instantly by being on TikTok because they popped some way that was exceptional. We did not have the ability to so quickly and fluidly be a part of that culture. It's just what it is. So you're not going to debate that with me.
You can still educate.
More challenging.
No, you can still educate. You can still educate.
You can still
educate. It's not. See,
I'm not saying you can't educate.
But see, that's what you're saying is you can influence decisions and you can't, because everybody's decision going to be. Guess what? If you could tell somebody about TikTok, your little girl probably going. Your little girl probably going to wait till she gone to school. She going to do TikTok videos at school. See, the thing is, regardless of what it is, you could tell people what they're going to do. It's up to them to make the decision. But it is a lack of.
What I get what she's saying is it's harder. It's not that it's not possible.
Thank you.
It was hard for my parents.
Because
they was. I was fighting. I was fighting different things that my parents was fighting. So it was hard for them, but they did it. They stepped up. They took the challenge.
Let me give you an analogy.
That's all it is. Step up, take the challenge.
Let me give you a perfect
Step
analogy.
up, take the challenge. Don't let little guys just take the challenge, or they take.
Let me give you a perfect analogy.
Oh my God.
So 1980, 1990, that 100,000 was, if somebody's gonna give you 100,000 or talked about 100,000, that was in the next state.
Yes.
Now what we talking about is that 100,000 is right here. That's what it is.
That's all I'm
and so
saying.
I can tell you all day. Nah, don't take that 100,000. Don't take that. It's
That's
gonna be
all I'm
harder
saying.
to go to that
Your
state.
dad's so smart.
Now 100,000, Dad. That 100,000 is right there.
Right there.
Matter of fact, my youngest, I'm sorry, my oldest, I'm not putting you on blast, son, like that.
Sorry,
in
he's cute.
Roblox, they got Givenchy sweaters for the Roblox characters. Do you not know, like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, none of that? That was not on my radar when I was that age. Now it's in the game. He's like, Dad, I really want a Givenchy sweater for my birthday.
But you know why? Because it's not because the kids are playing it. It's because there's guys that grew up that are gamers that are playing it too. So they still making it appealing to adults. The kids are just in on it now. And so that's what people don't...
Okay, 100,000 is right here now.
And so that's what I'm saying is...
While
you guys are saying it's hard, we still have... Okay,
no, I still gotta tell my son, nah, that's not cool, that's that. But it's still harder because when it's right there and it's accessible, that's what makes it more difficult. That's what she's saying.
I'm saying, but the light switch is right there and it's accessible, or the socket, you can say don't stick your finger in it. They still have to make the decision on if they're going to do it or not. See, the thing is what I'm saying is that these platforms, just as they open to kids, they're open to grown people. So you can't say it's harder because we all have access to it. So you know what's going on. We know what's going on TikTok. We know what's going on Snapchat. We know what's going on Instagram. We know you can pop up on YouTube and find. We know what's going on Facebook. So if you know all these challenges that there come, it is easier for you to educate them because you have the curriculum. It would behoove you to educate them, because if you don't, then you have these lost causes. You have these people that don't know how to get their lives straight. They don't know how to go back right, because when they were young, nobody taught them about this. And so the thing is I'm telling you, a lot of people, you grow up and you remember when you had your, oh my God, my parents were so right moment. But your whole life, you was rebellious to that. You know, and that's the thing. We always are going to be rebellious to the things that our parents teach us. But there's going to be one moment in our life that it comes, and we're going to have something that happens. And you're going to say, you know what? What they was really teaching me has substance.
Right.
I can make this decision. But when you don't educate them, their vision is clouded, and they're only going to go down Old Town Road.
No.
Or they're going to be educated by somebody else, and it's going to be the wrong education.
I'm not. So
there you go.
What's the next topic?
See how I did that?
No, I think that's a good way to wrap it up. Is that you have different points of view on it, whether it is be like watch your kids, but also it is. I think I agree that it's harder now than it was when we were younger, because they have more things in front of them than we did, and they have more people. More people are behind the things that they're looking at than when we were. Before, we were looking at the TV, that tube, and that's it. Now they have global companies looking at the data on the other side of that screen and saying, "Hey, how can we keep them? How can we keep it? How can we keep adults in front of these screens? But also, how can we?
Light.
But hold on, time out.
But also, how can we keep kids in front?
But what I'm trying to help you guys understand, what makes y'all think they wasn't doing that with TV programs?
No, we're not saying
that. So this is what I'm saying. Is that a high? You think about everything? Everything evolves. Everything evolves. Everything grows. Now the thing is either you can just stay in your box where you were, or you can evolve with it. So if your children are evolving in the world, why not evolve with it? That's all I'm saying.
That's what
exactly. But if we're saying, what they deal with, that's what they deal with. Then
but you also
you're not evolving.
But you also got to say with that same standpoint, like even like looking at like.
I thought we was finna end it.
I mean, we was, but weapons, warfare, all of that stuff has gone to a new level. So it's things like we don't even know to guard against. That's the time that we're living in right now. Like none of us saw coronavirus. Hey, stop. None of us saw coronavirus. And all of the chemical warfare and all that kind of stuff, like some stuff we just don't even know. Like it's just hitting us.
We could have prepared people for corona. Don't be nasty. Wash your hands. Wash your butt.
No, it couldn't be that simple. Because I got a 6-year-old son. I got a 6-year-old son. If that boy ain't got to wear a mask, it ain't that simple. Because honestly, there's some of the kids, they're the nastiest ones. They ain't got to wear a mask. So I don't even buy
it. Came out, everybody said, watch your hygiene. Well, dang, you could have been doing that before then. We could have prepared people for coronavirus. And people walk around nasty, stanky butts.
We should have been prepared anyway. We already knew this is coming. I mean, these are the end times, obviously. People acting like we scared. What we scared of? Let's go. Let's go.
I ain't gonna lie.
Let's go.
I might get in trouble for it, but when I used to be at SARS, and I used to see all the Asian people walking around with masks years ago, I'd be like, they know something I don't know. That's how I used to feel. They know something I don't know.
Known something
and now we all wearing them. So, hey, shout out to y'all because y'all are ahead of the curve.
They were actually wearing like legit masks. We're still wearing like
they've been on the medical. They had
they were wearing it before all this. You think they were wearing it for their safety and other people's?
Time out. I think it was a coronavirus concept because if you think about it, what people talk about China being like the smorgasbord for disease and like the epicenter for disease and all that because of like the markets and all that type of stuff, right? So if you think about a lot of times people travel in and out the country and stuff like that. If you know you could have been exposed to certain type of things, that's what coronavirus was like. You cover yourself because it protects other people. It doesn't necessarily protect yourself, but it protects you. It protects other people from you. And so I think that at that moment, that's what they were practicing because of the extensive travels that they do. And it wasn't even if you have it or not. It's just like, let's be safe, And so I believe that practice is now something that the world has practiced, but they've been practicing for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because I'm like you were right to say that they're in closer quarters.
Yeah,
and it was more susceptible.
Super populated.
So more populated, and so like, hey, like this concept of, hey, I got to protect other people is more. We've had to say that now.
Yeah, but they've always had that like, hey, let me not like if I got something, or let me not if I want to breathe good air, or I want to just be cool and not catch nothing else. Let me wear a mask. Yeah. Respect to the Asian culture for showing love to everybody else. That's what that is. That's what that is. I'm taking care of everybody else.
We
that's what that is.
Views on that.
I'm just talking about for that. I'm talking about for that olive branch. We got a lot of other stuff. You feel me? I'm for that olive branch. They gave us the tools to handle what we need to handle. They've been doing this for a long time. That's all it is.
That's true.
I'm curious to know. We're like, is this so we're like April-ish, so like a year ago-ish we went quarantine?
In the March,
Yeah. Like how are we different? Like how are we feeling a year after like and being kind of semi back into the world?
We're going back to phase 1 on Monday.
I've been trying to tell people. I've been trying to tell.
everything down again?
Of course.
In Snohomish County, they are.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. All right, one day.
This county, y'all better keep it
So,
together.
hey, hold on. When they said
We went from
50,
1 to
they said
back to
50%.
1, now back to 2, now we're going to 3, now we're going back to 1. It's like it's a.
So when they said 50%, I was out there. I went to Billy McHale's. I'm at Billy McHale. We walk in. You feel me? Walk in with the mask. I walk in and I was like, oh snap! Did coronavirus happen?
It was over.
I was like,
I'm telling you, I haven't been out like that a lot, but the time that I went out, it was stop it. The last time I was out, I was like, people are so excited to just be out. And I can even feel like, I'm like, I mean, our waiter was so excited. He was like, I am so excited that you guys are back out tonight. I mean, you know, I already knew I was going to give him a tip the moment he came to the table. But because there is like, it's weird because it seems like there's some aggression out there still, like when it comes to like retail, but then when it comes to like restaurants and those type of establishments and businesses, people are just so excited to be in the place and people are excited to serve. It's like
because they ain't had no job and they ain't been able to pay their bills.
I know
These businesses are getting shut down. These malls, there is no.
And let's say black businesses disproportionately too.
Yeah.
But I will say, I am so proud of. There are black businesses that are popping up like every other day, and
Bro,
there's a lot of people. I'm a black business owner too, and people are supporting me.
I'm gonna tell you something. That's the infusion of all these black people being killed in the last year. And you gonna tell me I'm wrong? But I'm gonna tell you something. This last year, black people being killed have put more of an importance on black people supporting black people because in years past we haven't done as much to support. No, so I'm just saying that because I'm not saying that support for the black business ain't been there before, but I have said this past year has infused the support for black business.
But what I will say is black businesses, being that we are, pushing this black businesses, we must have high quality. Yeah. If you don't have high quality, you better have a good refund policy. Yeah. If I ever hook you up and I owe you,
I will go back to my J's. I will go back to all of it. Because
I'm big on like, I don't want to support you. I've supported a lot of black owned businesses, and when it's not up to par, it hurts my heart so bad because it's like I can't even.
I bought Black Wall Street, the board game, right? I'm excited. I'm about to play Black Wall Street, right? I'm tracking it and everything. It come to my house. And I'm like, what is this? And it was like kindergarten, how to learn how to manage your money. I was like, this ain't Black Wall Street. I went straight to Facebook. I said,
MLK.
I took a picture of it. I said, this ain't what I ordered. I know y'all ain't charged me. And it was like, I'm sorry. It must have been a mix-up. What do you mean it's a mix-up? Look at this scan sticker. It say Black Wall Street on the side of this thing. Y'all tried to pull one on me, And I felt some type of way. And that was my review. I was so excited to help a black business. I felt like it wasn't only the fact that it was a black business, but this game is a historic game. Forget playing Monopoly.
Educate.
Like we could play Black Wall Street and you. They end up sending me my Black Wall Street because I cooked they butt on Facebook.
I think that's going to be a normal progression. I think the quality is overall going to go up because Dick Gregory said something. I think I said this a few weeks ago, but Dick Gregory said like
good stuff all the time.
When the Hebrews, who are now the Jewish people, got freed, newly freed out of Egypt, they was looking around at each other the same way we was.
Didn't know what to do.
Didn't know what to do. And so it just takes time. We have to get comfortable in our liberty and with the new power that we have, the entrepreneurial power that we have. So, we just gotta stay patient.
I mean, and it's also to say that we've always been entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
This is not new to us. So I want to give a caveat to, this has not been new to us. We've just been doing this legally. AKA, so just, just keep our quality of work up. So we can keep patrons.
Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street is actually a good game. It's actually a good game.
And it's not fair.
And we don't want charity. I don't want to support black business.
Support because I'm good.
Actually
I'm black.
Invest, buy. Like, the same way we think about going to Safeway. We don't think about supporting Safeway.
But I think that's how it begins. We've got to support
You're right.
first,
Facts.
And that's why I want to send this olive branch to Black Wall Street. Because when I cook them on Facebook,
This show is not affiliated with.
No, I'm just saying. I just want to let them know when I cook them on Facebook, they did send express delivery Black Wall Street to my. So they righted the wrong, and they let me keep the other game too. So I ain't gonna lie. When you give me something free and you let me keep, I'm Black. You feel me? That's a deal. That's 2 for 1. I got a 2-fer.
But you know what? Shout out to like cats like Derek Grace. You know what I'm saying? He got a board game.
Derek Jackson?
No. We ain't got on that yet. Derek Grace. And then there's a brother locally here in Tacoma that put out a board game. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Speaking of which,
I forget his name.
Speaking of board games, speaking of money, as we are putting money into our pockets, let us please be mindful that we're putting money into our mental health so that when we celebrate legends, I'm not going to say anything else about it. When we celebrate legends, we are not celebrating their untimely deaths because we are dying. When you do certain drugs in our community, we tend to not. I tell my kids, if you do these certain things, it is going to speed up the process of your death. So I'm preparing for you to die. I know that it's hard, and I've had to tell my own daughter that. I'm preparing for your death. So we as a community and as a society have to not be okay with continually preparing for each other's death and just say, hey, if you're doing XYZ that is cutting you up, let's deal with that stuff, okay? I'm over us always having to, cover up certain things because our underbelly is dirty.
I wish we had a drum roll.
Get that. Come on now.
I don't even know what's about covering up. We've had conversations, social media and things that it's mostly Black men who don't want to, put themselves, be vulnerable in helping themselves do those things.
I gotta deal with my all the time.
But see, I think that in order for that to happen, you also have to create a safe space for Black men to feel like they can be vulnerable.
No, there is not a safe space on this earth for a Black woman if you don't stop your.
I'm not saying that. No. See, we always do this, and see, this is not a tip for tat.
You don't need a safe space.
Apples and oranges.
There's no safe spaces, dear. We're just out here.
No, that's not what I'm saying. See, that's what you understand. I'm not saying that there needs to be a corner of the world where we all travel to where we could all talk. But what I'm saying is as a Black man, I can't go out there and fight the world every day and then come home and have to fight too. I can't have to go out there and fight the world every day and fight in my sphere of influence. Now, what I'm saying is if you created a safe place for them to feel like they can be vulnerable, because regardless of what you say about women, they do feel like they have places where they can be vulnerable. And so the thing is, if you feel like men aren't vulnerable enough, create places to where they can and they safely can be open and not feel like they're judged or criticized or maybe felt like they're being called soft because they're open.
I would create a space like that if there was that same space for women, my dear. I promise you I would. But let me be honest with you. Let me be honest with you. There's not a man who knows me.
You say me too, and then you say me too in a platform open up. I say me too, and they're like, bruh, you mad because he touched you? Like, look at Terry.
I'm just saying.
No. Hold on. Time out.
Never get a voice.
Hold on. We look at Terry Crews. Hold on.
Back. No. I really do want to get this point across.
Yeah, because I'm about to cook that.
I cannot speak for the entire world, but I can say for myself, I have always created a safe space for Black women. I mean, Black men. Always, where you can be vulnerable and you could talk and you could do all this. But I'm going to tell you, it's been very, very rare. I say maybe 1.5 men who's made that same space for me without using it against me or without getting something in return, X, Y, Z. So I understand what you're saying. And I'm not telling you, it's tit for tat, but I'm saying just like you want to go out into the world and not be the doggone target, as a Black woman, baby, please. Not even just by the outside world, but it's by men who look just like you.
Swear, but it is tit for tat because if I say
I want to create the space for you, but I don't have it, so I can't create it for you.
Then that's tit for tat because if I say create the space,
I would create it for both of us, baby. We would live there.
I don't even think it's about creating.
All I'm saying is what I'm saying.
Create it for yourself.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on. You can't create that space.
I understand that.
Hold on, because in yourself,
be vulnerable.
you chase out.
What's the They don't hurt you?
When you exude that, obviously, hold on. When you exude that, when you're in a place where you can be vulnerable, obviously you're speaking from the inside out. So you've already created that place for yourself. What you're saying is that the reason that I don't project this is because society does not accept this. So obviously there has to be a place where
there doesn't.
There's not a.
No one needs to accept nothing.
I hear what you're saying.
I agree to disagree.
But you only need to find that one person.
I agree to disagree.
And then when you're vulnerable, then what's gonna happen? When they hurt you, what's gonna happen? You're resilient. You'll be okay. You rejuvenate. Everything about you rejuvenate.
Okay, people can take away your safe place. It's all good. You're okay. You're worried.
You can rejuvenate it.
Something that I'm hearing,
it's
like
your safe place.
the moral of this is, I think both sides, both black men and black women, have to be intentional about creating safe spaces, both for themselves within our gender and then across the gender.
I understand that. I just feel like if I say I want a safe place, I don't want to hear, well, I want a safe place too. Because then now, guess what? I'm not providing that, and I don't even want it. And I'm not saying it like that. But
yes,
when
you did. Yes, you did. And you changed my tone, like I said.
I think I get what he's saying. When a man is bringing up something,
if I say, you know what, I can't be this because I want a safe place. I can't give you a safe place. I ain't got a safe place for myself. It's like, you know what? Obviously,
so let me say this.
Obviously, we can't do this.
You know me better than not to take that out of context.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, you even explained it.
But let me say this. Let me add on to that. I
know we don't have to no love.
Disagree with me or agree with me.
I agree with you.
But I feel like at some point, also we as men too got to lead in that area.
But that's why what I'm trying to say is men are always leading.
No,
that's where the burden they have been.
I mean, sorry, not leading. I apologize.
Backbone of the household, so they've got more burden on them than, I'm not going to say more, but maybe different burdens for men and women. So when I understand when he's saying, well, I need a safe space, the response wouldn't be, well, I need one too. It would be, what can I do to help to creating the safe space for you? That would be the response I would say anyways, not make it a back and forth. I mean, I'm a married woman, so I know if my husband were to say this specifically to me, I'm going to reflect off what I need to say and do to make that happen.
I feel like
I think we're talking about an isolated versus I do think, I hear what you're saying. Because I've been married twice, and I've always create a safe space. But at the same time, it is we're talking about two totally different things. When you're talking about creating a safe space as a society. That's what I thought you were saying. If you're talking about completely different. So when you're talking about individually, that's a lot easier. You can create because it's a level of intimacy. But if you're saying as our entire society that we need to create this safe space, it's very challenging because women are up against it just the same. So it's almost like trying to do something impossible. We're both trying to hold on to the same line. If we're talking about individually, absolutely create safe spaces. That's where you. But I'm saying, you wouldn't even be with someone who didn't create a safe space for you.
That's what I'm saying. This one is not personal, but what I'm saying is societal wise, if we're always arguing about creating,
we're not arguing. We're balancing. All I'm saying, I'm hearing you.
I just shut the heck up. You feel
for 2 seconds. It wasn't long, so keep going.
So what I'm gonna say is, if we're always arguing about who's going to create the safe space first in the black community, societal wise, everybody else ain't gonna hop on board. Because guess what? Y'all can't get it together. Why am I gonna hop in?
I'm not arguing about the safe space. I'm saying it's almost like a tightrope. Like we're both struggling to both have the space. I'm not saying I don't want to give it to you.
But see, that's what I'm saying is, if we consider man the leader, right, the one who leads, even as a teammate, as lead, right, if he can't have a safe space first, he can't create it for nobody else. And so my thing is, if you create a safe space for that man, it gives him the ability to extend that olive branch. But if he feels like it's him against the world all the time, he ain't never gonna create that safe space for nobody.
Individually, I get what you're saying.
Not depending off of the society.
That's what you guys are not listening, because it is within, because we can voice that. We can voice our
in your home. That's where it begins. We can't put
the Black Lives Matter. The whole Black Lives Matter thing doesn't. We have one woman, Breonna Taylor, that they really talk about. All the rest of it is black men. So we're talking about a plethora of black men crying out to society, saying we do not feel safe in America. And guess what? it continues to happen. We're not. The thing is you don't have to worry about really getting pulled over and getting your wig split by the police like that. No. I'm saying that. I'm not saying like that, but I'm saying to the extent because what we see in the media.
But that's the media though,
and that's what I get, and that's what I'm saying.
Society, that's what.
So that's what I'm saying is what I'm saying is because the world is being conditioned to see it a certain way. Black men are conditioned to feel like they don't have a safe place, even if they do. But what I'm saying is if it's not obvious, they are not going to be able to get rights to provide the safe place for everybody else.
But I think
I was specifically talking about the mental health within your own.
When we've been given, in times when we've been given safe spaces, we have not extended that to Black women as well because even though they're the ones who protect us the most, they're the ones who protect us the most from anybody else, for anybody else. When we were in slavery, they were the ones who were giving themselves up for us. Who were
praying for us all night.
Who were doing all
and you
these
can't
things.
tell me a Black woman who's not doing it for a Black man right now, regardless how he's treated her.
All right, so
I'm just saying we're trying to create
there's a law
spaces.
where you can go. And if you do heroin, they can safely shoot you up, right? And that's a safe place for somebody to be a drug addict. And that's what I'm saying. For a patient, if you sick, you can go to a hospital because that's the environment that they created for you to be. And so that's all I'm saying is that where's the environment in society for you to be able to go and be a Black man? Because guess what? Sometimes it ain't even in the church because sometimes they're not talking about it like that in the church. Sometimes it ain't with Black women because guess what? When you feel like you've been judged by the world, the last thing you fear is being open with somebody and being judged by your last outlet.
Well, you have to choose.
And that's the thing that that's the thing that Black men deal with is because we're scrutinized out there. When I come here in this community, the last thing I want to do is be open and be judged here because when it happens here, where else can I go?
That's you. And again,
that's
all I'm clearly saying is that same pain that you feel.
I'm a Black man, so I know it. You're a Black woman, and you know what it's like to be a Black woman.
I'm a Black woman,
so
and all I'm saying,
tell me what it's like to not have a safe haven to be a Black man.
I'm not telling you what it's not like. I'm saying that when I come to the table and I say I'm gonna be a safe space, I need you to also come to the table. Don't come to me just with your brokenness and say put it back together again, and I have to be whole. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying let's mutually. That sounds
like an individual situation, not society.
I'm not. No, but you're making this individual situation.
No, I'm talking about society. I'm talking about societal. When I just say
where's the place? Where is the place that you want? What does that look like?
The thing is that there's
and who are these people who are going to create this space for you?
What I'm trying to tell you is there's not even a narrative. There's a conversation over the platform of society about how do we create a safe place for them.
I'm asking you. What does that look like for you?
That's like asking a rape victim how to stop from getting raped.
Okay, so someone else has to figure out when it'll be safe for you to be vulnerable. And I'm not saying just you, I'm saying Black men. So we got to create this space because you don't want to just be out there. Just be vulnerable.
The suspect of who made me a victim knows what they did to not be able to create the safe place. That's what I'm saying. It's like we talk about 500 years of oppression, right? We always Black people are always faced with how do we fight oppression? How do we overcome it? No, guess what? We're the victims of it. You know what you did. You know how you systematically put this together.
And
you know exactly how to dismantle it.
So what do we do now?
I don't know. How am I supposed to know?
No, let me say
support one another and wait till they dismantle it.
I'm saying I'm about to enjoy your life because all that.
But I believe in the black community. Don't put it on the community. Put it in your home.
Yeah, why are we gonna put it on them to fix
that's us? That's why I was not speaking of just society. I was talking about in your home. Everything starts at home with your kids. You educate yourself, right? You're not going to wait for somebody to
every other
feed
culture
you
has a
something.
safe place. You have Mexicans.
Right.
You don't even have to know.
But they
don't even have to know each other. You see two Mexicans get on a bus. They don't even know you.
We don't in society.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm just saying it's a safe space. Asian people. They don't know each other. It's a safe place. It's a safe place. The community is a safe place for each other because they know what they have, the scrutiny that they go on in the world. They can look at their own and say, I feel comfortable.
We don't have that. We will not have that.
But that's what I'm saying.
But we will not have that. So you have to create that.
At home. Create that at home.
We just
within
talked about the
yourself
difference
first.
So
between.
you better
Hold on,
create
time
it.
out.
You
But
better
see, we're talking
create
about the
it.
difference between
you ain't gonna have
individual.
it.
We talked about the difference between individual and society. I'm not saying that ain't the safe haven that I got in my home, but guess what? The same way that I'm in my home, I can't project that to society because they look at me different if I say it the way that I say it in my home. So what I'm saying is, I already know individual.
I think it's a both. I think it's both society and in the home. And I think one thing that we need collectively is, and I was on, shout out to Veronica Very, because this was her idea. I don't know if y'all know her. She's doing big things for black folks in Seattle. But she said that what we need as a people is a black creed. Like something that we are accountable to, that we live by collectively.
Definitely. Everybody else has one.
And that's what gives us that accountability, with how we treat our black woman, how the black woman treats the black man, how we treat our children, how we interact with each other in our business dealings, all of that.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow that code of conduct, there's consequences to that. And I think once we have that established, that will help a lot of just because I think a lot of these things exist in pockets. I do think there are safe spaces for each of us. I was just thinking like the barbershop.
Individual.
You feel me?
In
Like,
little places, but not in the community like Chinatown.
it's
But you
just-
even
got a
have to
whole
be.
town
You
that
even
they
have to be careful. It's just what I'm saying. Like, there's no place where you can just be totally free. Because even in the barbershop, you have to watch what you say because you can get ridiculed, and now that is a confidence blow, an ego blow, and so that's the thing. I'm saying.
No, but that
I was just talking low. I wasn't trying to interrupt you.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, with the barbershop, there's a level of freedom, just like in the hair shop. I think in the hair shop you can be a little bit more free because in the hair shop, just as in the barbershop, you are mainly dealing with one person.
Society,
so
there's
in
public places.
no, but I'm saying the barbershop is one of the pillars. Just like if we want to say,
I don't get my hair cut.
And
It's
you know
just my
what?
thing.
And look,
I'm a dreadhead.
But there was a lot of people back in the day who went to the barbershop who didn't get their hair cut. I remember growing up, there was a lot of people who came to the barbershop. The old heads who came to the barbershop just to talk junk, just to get a little, just to converse with the people who are already there.
I dig that.
And people who would sell stuff. People who were looking to buy things from, people who were looking for business ideas, stuff like that. If they had artists, all these things, and that was one of the pillars of our community. Just like other communities have that.
Let me make a quick interjection.
Go ahead,
And let's not get it twisted. We all got access to therapists too.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm gonna be all the way. I'm gonna be all the way real. I go every other Wednesday. I see my therapist.
No, I got Dr. Ronald Harrison. But see, that's the thing.
Amen.
Like, I don't. My thing is, I don't always want my safe space to have to be behind closed doors, and that's what I'm saying.
But it begins there.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm not speaking from the beginning. I'm speaking from somebody who's already took these avenues, who does this behind the door work. I'm saying when you are projecting to society, that is your inward speaking outward. That's your truth. If you can't speak your truth to society and feel secure in that, then that's what I'm saying is the issue. Because guess what? We see it. You share posts on Instagram or Twitter or something. You might have some black people that support you, but you're going to have some that crucify you because we ain't on the same page. Yeah. Every other culture's on the same page. No, time out. You see Africans, guess what? They come in, they'll start a store, right? They're in the union, got to be their family member.
That's economic though.
But you don't realize that that's more than economics because guess what? What they do is they create those spaces and it doesn't just become a store. Because if you know anything, like Central District, they had a couple, there was the African family that built a couple stores, but what they ended up started doing was expanding them, making them cafes, making them little clubs in the back room, so that people have places
that's
to where
outside
they can
looking
come.
in though too.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Grass always looks greener, bro.
No, but I'm saying they have places
also
to
have a
where
lot of
people can come and be a culture.
I get that.
For me, you still to outside looking in, but one thing I did was I'm very observant. So I always seen how they interacted with each other. We don't have very many of those places. A lot of those is because sometimes we were giving money instead of keeping establishments. And the green and that money look better than keeping the establishments. So whose fault is that? We gave away the safe places. You know, so now my generation comes up and it ain't nothing to there ain't nowhere to go. And then you have I look at somebody like
you
myself.
asked the question,
We
but
have
you
so
already
many
had the
places to
answer.
go.
There are no
We
safe places
create
because they gave them away.
spaces.
Yeah.
All we do is create spaces. We didn't need places. Before we had large commercial buildings, we had homes. I created a safe space for you last weekend, and what do? I'm
See,
horrible.
You want to throw shots?
Yeah.
You throwing shots?
Shots
Hey, she throwing
fired.
shots. Yeah, you throwing
Because
shots
what
across
we
the
do
mic.
try to
'Cause you
create-
did.
I'm
Let me
not
tell you
good at
something.
creating
Let me tell you
community.
something. Let me tell you something.
What?
And to be real honest, because you did do that.
I wasn't
And you
doing
was
that for a shot, but it's an
you said,
example of trying to create
You
a
did do that,
community.
and you were like, hey, let's catch up. I got.
And see?
No, for real.
Not
And
even-
we didn't talk. Back porch open to you. You did, and it was Easter Sunday too, and I got caught up eating a whack of ram and some pork chops. And some lamb chops. I ain't even gonna lie to you. And then during the week, I thought about that, and I was like, you know what? And this is being real. I was like, she offered me that safe place, and not only did I not go, I didn't even say, you know what? Thanks, Leash, for offering me that safe space. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Yada yada yada. And that ate me up all week. I knew I was gonna see her
Prove my
today, and
point.
she was gonna say something about it
Totally for
eventually.
everything I
And she did it on the camera.
Hey, you gave her the
I
ammo.
didn't mean to, but you kind of.
That's why I love you. That's why I love you, my dog. I did want to get it out way. You my dog. You're like, but that was, we also talking about, that was individual. We're talking about society.
What did my girl say? She said, you start at home. I started at home. I mean,
We can't
where
always
else
blame
can I go?
society and the next person, or the past. We
You got
gotta
me?
live in the now and do what we need to do individually.
me?
And it's
But-
challenging.
Move forward.
Okay, but
She got
now
me.
who do we blame for
Nobody.
not voting?
Yourself.
Who do we blame? Do we blame society for us not voting enough? Do we blame us for not voting enough to change society?
Or, I mean,
Like, because I want to talk about voting because a lot of stuff in the news now is about our vote. It's always about, like, when it comes time, it's always about us. It's always about blaming us or exalting us or something about us voting.
Well,
and it's not 100% the picture, but in some of those communities that can change the tide of a certain state, what do we do as a community, as individuals, to make like this voting thing, to make it not so much on us? Because when Trump won, 3 years we heard the black people
Didn't show up to vote.
in this didn't vote, and that's why he won. The black people in this state didn't vote, and that's why he won. And
Population for Black people are lower
Yeah.
than all others, well, Caucasians. Then we also have felons, people who can't vote if there's certain rules and laws and things. So I don't think that the Black vote is ever going to be more than the white vote.
And then
That's never
And
going
then
to
you have
happen.
to-
and then
these
you also
voter
have
rights
to
laws.
anticipate how many of other cultures, including Caucasian, have been inundated, and their life has been politics. Like, politics. Of course, we all learned it, in school. But if you don't have that generational concept of this is important, we're just doing it because you told us to do it.
Exactly.
We have a shirt on, and you said it's important because we don't want Donald Trump to be our president
Most of the
anymore.
Black people
We're not
are
doing it because
Democrats
it's
by
a
default.
mindset, and we're having these conversations. Yeah, we're having these intelligent conversations about, are we really Democrats? Are we really Republicans?
No, we just like,
the way that
my mama was Democrat,
Yeah.
granddaddy was
Exactly.
Democrat,
Do you
Democrat.
understand the electoral vote? Do they
No.
understand that not every vote counts?
Education,
We're lying,
right.
but education, it's not even just basic education. I mean, you got to go back to understand this, and it has to be like a lifestyle. So
Well,
I think we're going to get fad votes, just
you're
like
right.
I
how
don't
we
No.
necessarily think it needs to be a lifestyle, but
not a
knowledge
lifestyle, but
does.
is
you
power.
can't just
Go
just
get,
know. I
education
have to
on-
go to the
It
polls
doesn't-
and I have to
No,
know
time out.
how to read the ballot.
You're right.
You have
Right.
to.
No,
like,
she's right. It does have to be a lifestyle, and this is why. Because, see, the thing is, we only look at the national level. We look at the president. But see, the thing is that that's the only time the electoral college comes into play. See, at your local level, you have more of a voice.
Yes.
So the thing is if we put more people in power in our local levels, then we groom them for the national level. And see, the thing is we're not producing enough candidates to look like us. So the thing is America, the people who run America don't look like America.
Yeah, 'cause
And
I got a text the other day asking me if I wanted to run for local office. I'm like,
Yeah.
Man,
My
why
mom
you
did too.
look out
My mom did too. Yeah.
Listen, I'm about to get on the
get a ticket
PTA.
today.
I mean, not the PTA,
Because
but
they
the
do
school
need
board.
more black
Secretary of
people.
Defense, I'm at you, feel me?
They do.
Look.
If you got that offer, you should take it. What is it that I
but I
need
felt
to
like it
do?
was just a robocall though.
No,
Because
but-
I'm like,
But
You
that's a
will
really
only know
good,
if
that's
you
a really
contact
good
them back.
point though, because how many times in politics and in these, I'll say this, me and my group, we talk about how sometimes being an African American woman or someone of African American descent sometimes makes you not as open or you're not as
You don't feel like you're
up to-
entitled to it.
Absolutely.
You see that and you're like, oh, that was
Absolutely.
fake. That ain't real. Ain't nobody want me to run for office.
Yes,
You feel me? They
exactly.
tripping.
But if you
Me?
watch it, if you
know
pay
me?
attention, I'm sorry, my voice. If you pay attention to who these people are in these offices, or if you even take the time to sit during a school board meeting for almost any county, you're like, who are these people? Are they mildly are you seriously
Nobody.
paying attention? So we do need to start being in those spaces because we do have a voice. We do have
But-
something that's absolutely relevant to what's
And this
going
is
on.
the difference to it too, and this is why I don't think people also take into the account. We're not groomed to be politicians. These people who are politicians have been groomed to be politicians.
Absolutely.
This is their
I'm
life.
sorry, I just kind of disagree with that one.
No, no, no,
because
no, 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 no,
we
no, no,
sat
talk
at a
about-
table eating
no.
soul food. Why can't you go and bond?
No,
That's
this
exactly
is
what
not what-
politics
But that's
are.
not what I'm talking about. See,
Okay.
the thing is that these people go to these establishments, they shake hands with certain people,
Yeah.
they create a certain
Right.
network to put them in. But see, that's the thing. The certain network that they created already look like them. And so my thing
So I
is
get
that
kinda what
so
she's
what I'm
saying, though.
saying is
Hold
no,
on.
no, no.
I
What
get what you're
No,
saying.
so what I'm saying is we don't did nobody think they could be president until they seen Barack Obama? Ain't no black person thought they could really be president until they seen Barack Obama. But see, the thing is now that you've seen somebody prepped in that service, there's probably a lot more kids thinking that that's probably feasible.
But that's what we're saying.
And now
Do
you groom
you?
people.
That's what we're saying. Do you? So it doesn't have to look like anything. You will change exactly what it looks like. I mean, that's what we're trying to tell our kids.
Yeah,
like JoJo, you don't
but
have
what you
to
don't
look.
realize, as the minority,
I
and
know.
see that's the thing. As the minority, we can't change what it looks like right now. We have to get in there looking the part because guess what? Everybody else has to say so too. So if we don't go in looking the way they want us to look too, they can void us.
They
and so the
can't.
thing is, we have to. The reason why Barack Obama was good was because Barack Obama looked the part. He spoke intelligent. He spoke their language. So it was easy for them to say, all right, we got stamp of approval on him. He's a go.
I
Now,
hear
Ray
what you're
Ray down
saying.
and Junebug said, I'm about to run for office.
I'm
You
a
feel-
black woman in corporate
I'm just
America.
saying.
I feel it every single moment of my life, and I bear the weight of my family. So my salary now, even though I feel like I'm doing good, I have to keep up this whatever this is in order to keep them here, right?
But what
so
I'm
hold
saying-
on a second. There's so much risk in what I've said to like in my internal. Alicia, you gotta be great because if you ain't great, you gotta be.
Yeah.
It
gotta be
causes
10 times
it
more.
causes a professional anxiety to where I'm afraid to make big decisions. I'm afraid to really go out there because if I mess up, it's different because they're always looking at me. I don't get
Exactly.
on a Zoom call if I'm not straight. I don't get if I'm on a Zoom call if I do not look like I woke up
and
like
so
this.
I hear that. But in
so
order to
this is
be
what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying.
groundbreaking,
What I'm saying is I'm over it. I will be with my tooth gems, with my big earrings, with my crazy
Yes.
ideas in corporate America. And if they fire me, let me get fired because I'm tired of trying to be what they want or what this I can't anymore. It's overwhelming.
But
you
at the-
can't even be creative anymore. You can't even really enjoy life because there's so much of this. I got it now.
No, 'cause
I'm
you're more
tired.
creative
So I'm
than
gonna
me
give you my
type thing.
ideas.
I don't-
And if you see me
this
on
is
the
why-
street,
and this is why
give your girl a
this is why
sandwich. That's all I'm saying.
and this is
'Cause
why I
I'm-
disagree. My father,
Nah, you gonna be straight either way.
my father,
Thank you. I
my
appreciate
father
it.
worked for Bayer for 30 years. Anybody know Bayer? They make all the top medicines in the world. He was an auditor for Bayer, senior research analyst. My whole life, my dad is a Rasta now, dreadhead, everything. But for about the first 15 years of his career, he spoke a certain way, he dressed a certain way, he carried himself a certain way, he shaved his head all the time because he knew that in order for somebody else like him to be able to get in, he had to be groundbreaking. He had to be accepted. He had to make them understand that just because I'm black doesn't change how intelligent I am. After that 15 years to when they realized that's who he was, he invested in who he was. and he grew his hair out. And he conformed to who he was in corporate America. And guess what? He was able to walk out that man by instead of being ushered out. And now instead of Bayer being all white, you got Russians and you got black people from the hood in Bayer. I could have got in Bayer. And so the thing is that he created an environment inside a company that some of us feel like we would never be able to step foot in. He created an environment for people that look just like him. And guess what? They may have to come in, clean up, or whatever, and play the part for a little bit. Because guess what? These people are also paying you, and they are changing the way your life is. But at the same time, once you let them know that I'm more than what I look like, yeah, you can change your approach because now they trust your opinion. They trust it, but you got to work for it. You can't just because that's what they look this way. You think all of them wear suits and all the time? No, they actually. If you really knew anything about your what would you say? The opposite, that they don't put value in those things. That those things that you see them in are only for when the camera come out. But they wear Docker pants
We're very
and low
clear
pants,
on that.
and they don't drive Mercedes Benz and
they
get
wear
Geo
flip-flops.
tractors, and they put their money and stuff. And so that's what I'm saying is it's a difference in how it's a difference in when you see what they do and what we see what we do, because what we put our priorities are in two different things. I just want to be myself. Well, you can be yourself broke too. And guess what? And maybe find your own way. But if you're going to step into somebody else's life, you do have to abide by some type of rules so you can make it out on your own.
No, all you have to do. I worked for the largest social media company in the entire world, and I did everything I was supposed to do. I mean, Trey knows I worked my ass off.
And now you conform to what you want to be.
Wait a second. And as soon as I was finished working my ass off, I hit the send button on my last project. They let me go, right? So this is somebody who didn't have I wasn't tardy not one time. My record was perfect. So what I'm saying is you can work for whomever you want and play the part, because I played the part. I didn't have no gyms on. I wasn't, nothing. I was playing the part, and I've played the part for about 25
Everybody
years.
get fired.
Hold on a second. No.
Black.
That was the first time I ever got fired, because I've worked 5 jobs my entire life. I've always played the part.
But fire is a way of life. You can't say I get fired.
You're not listening to my whole story, but go ahead.
But you're using fired as that being playing a part. I got fired from tons of jobs. I work at Microsoft. I'm just saying. And I played a part. But me playing a part has risen me up the ranks. And in one day, because there's not a lot of people who look at like me there. There's not dreadheads there. There isn't any of that.
But if you playing the part, you're not being any different. You're playing the part.
No, I am playing the part.
Why are you playing a part?
Even though I look this way.
Why are you playing a part to be in someone's world?
And I look a certain way.
So play a part, kids.
It's cool.
Go play a part. I'm just saying, you're saying you're playing a part.
You have to play. So they don't have to play a part when they go in school, because there's a system in there. You got to play a part.
No. Why do you? Okay, then don't.
There's rules everywhere.
It's not about rules. Right. You just said playing a part. Playing a part is not rules. Playing
in a
sense,
role. It is.
You're playing a role.
Some places have dress codes. It is a rule. You got to play a part.
Okay.
And guess what?
For your dress code, not your personality.
Look, what I'm saying is, the people who pay you, they have the power to tell you that. More times than not. They say this is how we want your position go. And so my saying it's a personal decision to say, to say, hey, I'm not with that.
Because this generation isn't saying that. This generation comes to work in flip-flops and a hair tie and a Snuggie on everything, and is making easily $90,000 a year.
Most of them work outside of the face of public view.
No, what you don't understand is it's a crazy world out there, especially in these tech companies.
I work in a tech company.
View, but I'm saying they're in public view, so I'm sure you see it then.
They're not.
You work at an OG though.
No, time out. No. Because they're there in flip-flops, and they're there in their Iron Man t-shirts and their Green Lanterns and all that. But you know what? When they get ready to do a production, they ain't putting nobody that look like that in front of the camera. Guarantee you that. 100%. And I've been in these rooms.
But I'm saying they're not playing a part.
And I see these productions.
They're not playing a part. They're making their money.
And
they're looking like they look.
No, what I'm telling you is the people who want to look like they
can get away with it.
Because they're not in public view. And they also don't look like us.
But this is also a question of
it's flexing yourself.
This is a whole title question of what we call professional, right? And that's from a Eurocentric point of view. And I think that's the thing that we're trying to disrupt is
Thank you.
you don't accept me for me because you say I'm not professional because of how I am. When I bring just as much to the table, I think that's the thing that we got to disrupt.
Shout
Not
out to
the
my current
rules that,
company.
you know, like getting to work on time and completing our assignments and doing those things. It's because I talk with a little bit more bass in my voice and the way that I'm built.
Come on.
You don't want me to look a certain way. I think that's the
Because that's what I was going to say. I was fired, and I will not fired, but I was let go. And someone right before I was let go was told me, Alicia, you can come off, did she say aggressive? Never in my entire career ever has anyone ever described me as aggressive. I mean, aside from here. But professionally, I have never even had a bad mark on my record. So for that to happen, that's what I'm saying. I can't say anything, and no one else. And I even went to my mentor who was in the same room. Did I come off aggressive? Mentor's not black. No, you did not come off. So it's to say that there are certain spaces in which when you do speak, absolutely, you can come off aggressive. However, they are creating spaces, and we have to just continue to push like our young people are doing.
I don't think it's that. I think maybe
and look the way you're looking and be the way you're being in your space.
Like, you have that way about you of telling people, like, you know, your idea is stupid and mine's is way better. The way I think about it is better, and you don't have to be aggressive without doing that. So I can see somebody saying that because I know you personally.
In a professional,
you took a shot at me right there. I'll take one back.
I will listen. All day, but I'll do it in a professional manner.
man,
Trust me when I tell you. So it'll be the truth. It might be that, but it's gonna be with
that's
love.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
You don't have to, like, because I know I have a loud voice, strong verse. People always think I'm aggressive. I know that. So that ain't no. But I know sometimes some people can take, and me, I just be. I've sat and talked to you one day, and my opinion, your opinion, but you look at me and your opinion retarded. You feel me? And you ain't say it like that, and you kind of said it a little bit more subtle, and it wasn't aggressive, but it was like, man, why I gotta feel crazy that I feel this way?
Kill all that. So the issue is that we don't have CEOs that look like you,
That's
and
true.
we don't have CEOs that look like you.
Exactly.
That's the point that we got to get to, where people are. It's the system has been disruptive enough where y'all the ones that we see in these top levels.
So it's
No,
not
that means
uncommon.
that means that these black businesses have to strive so that
No.
I'm
not talking about the black. I'm talking about Microsoft.
All businesses.
No, but see what you're understanding, because the CEO
Building
of
on your
Microsoft,
own
the
or
CEO,
others.
the CEO
I
of
know
Microsoft
Indian.
is Satya.
I know, and he's dope.
Yeah,
He's dope.
no, Satya's
He's
dope.
dope.
But what I'm about to tell you right now is that the thing is that you're not finna get in there, because see, they control the aspect of that. Bill Gates and all that, they control who the CEO gonna
That's
become.
the problem.
And so that's what I'm saying. But you can't break down that barrier, because guess what? They always have a cog to step in to keep their system in place. You have to create your own system to where you are the CEO of that, so that you can say, I'm gonna step away, and this is gonna replace me. Because guess what? Jeff Bezos did the same thing. Jeff Bezos just did the same thing. So you know what? I'm about to step away, and he replaced someone. But guess what? If you are in charge, you have say so over
look,
who.
this is what
if
I'm
you're
saying.
not in charge,
We
if
can't
you
all
do
be
not have.
CEOs. I get
But
you.
if you're not in charge, you do not have say so over that.
I understand, but it's still both though. We need to continue to build black-owned businesses, make them Fortune 500 companies that are publicly traded, but we also need to be at the top level. If we can be the president of the U.S., why can't we run a Fortune 500 company?
But until they see us doing it ourselves, they ain't gonna give us the reins to their
No,
own.
that's not the problem. It's supporting each other.
But that's what I'm saying.
There.
And what I'm saying
We
is
have-
supporting each other. But that's what I'm saying. We have to have more of awareness of supporting each other to build each other up to that point. Because see, if they're not saying they're building their own companies and running and being CEOs of their own companies, then they're not going to give us that. But guess what? Indians are. Asians are. They're running their own companies, their own corporate, their own enterprise. They are doing that on American soil. So they've already proven to these people that they can run companies and they can make good decisions. We did that at one point. And guess what? Well, Black Wall Street, power to y'all, they tore it down. And so we're fearful.
But we got examples now though.
So that's
we got a
PTSD.
ton of
I know,
examples now.
but there's a little PTSD in the black community of doing that, because you feel like if you do it again, they'll just come back and tear it down again.
Nah, bro. It's even the layers to it where, I mean, we're talking about a whole diversity, equity, inclusion piece right now, where the barriers that exist inside of these companies, where black people don't even feel the support they need in order to get to these levels.
Of course.
Where there's literally a clear barrier of the higher you go up in the organization, the wider it gets. The lower you go, the blacker it is.
Yeah,
and that's what we
and
gotta
so what I'm
disrupt.
saying is, if you can't disrupt that if they don't see value outside of where they are, because they can keep you at the bottom as long as they want. But if they don't see the value existing out of that, they'll never believe in what they already have.
But also,
They who?
it's
Who are you referring to as they?
And whoever is running, whoever is because the thing is we talk about Caucasian, but we don't realize that
That's what
Asian
I'm saying,
people,
because that's
people make more money than them. They run a lot more than what you
It's
think.
also
that they
it's
run.
also a choice of willful
And so-
ignorance too.
So that's what I'm saying. We talk about this race thing. I say they, I say those that the power that be, because it's not a race thing.
Right.
It's those that the power that be. But at the same time, we are not the power that be that sits at the top, and we are the power that be that sits at the bottom. We have the power to sit at the top, but see, we don't try to ride our own wave. We try to ride everybody else's wave to get to the top.
Nah,
And that
bro.
no,
Yeah, I
no,
don't
no,
agree
no,
to that.
no, hold
Yeah.
on. Because guess what? That's why we sit back and continue to fight for reparations instead of getting up. There's only few people that are getting up off their butts and doing it. The rest of the black community is sitting back waiting for their savior to say, guess what? We got the answer to how we can all be rich. That's what people are waiting for. And that's not what's going to happen. We have to build ourselves up from the bootstraps and start somewhere. And a lot of people are afraid to start.
I disagree, bro.
I'm not saying everybody. A lot of people are. Because if they weren't afraid to start,
Or
we
don't
would not
have-
be having this conversation.
Or don't have the knowledge or something in order to start.
I think we
the
live
support, everything.
I think we live in a time right now. Like this is our window of opportunity that more change can be accomplished in this time than happened even in civil rights.
And I'm not saying that's wrong.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're not afraid to start, if you're afraid to start somewhere, it don't matter. And that's what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter if you're not going to start. If you're not going to enter the race, who cares? You ain't gonna get a medal. You know?
I think there's a statistic that the black entrepreneurs, I think even black female entrepreneurs, like that's the most of any entrepreneurial group is black women.
And they don't have their companies. They don't have like huge staffs, and you have some.
But I'm
that
saying,
do,
but even though you're starting, that if the soil isn't ripe for that seed to be planted and it's not supported, it won't grow. It'll continue to wither and die. And that's when you got to look at the system.
Or when
Because
you
some of this
started-
stuff is systemic, bro.
Or when you're starting and everybody's focused about making it to the top of somebody else's pyramid instead of creating our own. And so that's the thing. We've let somebody else create a pyramid, and we're trying to get to the top floor of their pyramid instead of creating our own pyramid.
But
And that's
everybody's
wrong.
also not made to be an entrepreneur too.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. But that's the thing. Why can't we have black CEOs, who employ other people that aren't meant to be CEOs? But then we could at least say we have that.
Shout
but
out
we don't
to Black
have.
Coffee Northwest.
You feel me? That's what I'm saying. We can all say, I know one company here. I know what you ain't pointing to a big conglomerate like Microsoft or something like that to say, they're employing black people.
But why
and all
is that?
They,
Some of
they're
that is-
probably out there, but we're not
But
promoting.
some of that is systemic, though, bro. That's the other thing we got to see.
Some of it
bro.
is, but most
But
of
when
it
you
is
know,
definitely
every
financial.
business started from word of
but
mouth.
also that's systemic, though.
But no,
Yeah,
every
it's
business.
systemic.
Because
But
even
it's
if we
financial
look,
as well.
and even if we look at the venture capital world, that black businesses are the most underfunded businesses out of any. We don't get money when it comes to venture capital.
Right.
So you don't have the opportunity to make the next Facebook, Snapchat, and all these round A, B's, and C's.
But why
and
do
go
you
through all of
think that during the pandemic there were more? Because there were more grants and things like that for businesses to grow.
Exactly.
To begin to,
So now I feel like the tide is changing, but it's like that has to be doubled down.
But
Like,
we
can't
also
let
feel
up.
like we need a ton of money to start a business, and that is also not true.
But you
Again,
do need a
education.
certain amount of capital to start. For instance, what is it? The dude who started GoPro. His family gave him like $10 million. They had, before that, he was just on a world tour going around trying to figure out what he wanted to do in life. Not what career, not what place he wanted to live, not what wife he wanted to get. No, to figure out what he wanted to. His family was cool. And then when he came up with the idea, his family said, okay, people said they came and gave him cash for it. Black people, majority of black people don't have the access. Majority of people of color don't have the access to that much capital with no strings attached.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
Investment strings
some
attached.
of the biggest, some of the most wealthiest companies started from the simplest ideas. And sometimes to make the simplest idea, you don't need a lot of money. And that is the narrative. That is what, that's the
Stops
thing.
us,
By
yeah.
by us putting that out, saying that there has to be some sort of capital for you to start, then people are saying, well, I can't start because I don't got the capital.
Yeah.
And that's not true. You know, I mean, you could go to Michael's and get a ball of yarn and start knitting and say, I knit, and you could promote that over Instagram. You could grow a business like that. Like, the thing is, there's so many different avenues for us to do it, but we are not telling people that you have all these avenues and you can use them. We're saying, you can't, if you ain't got money, you can't do it.
You can,
And that's not true.
Which is,
I agree with
that's
you.
true. But I don't think everybody thinks that way either. I think maybe there's a small amount.
And that's the
of
problem.
people that
but that's
may
the
think
problem.
that way.
But
And that's why
it's,
you can't.
it's-
That's why you don't have a plethora of entrepreneurs because we don't think that way, and
But
people
they're
think that you
growing.
have to
It
have
is
money.
growing.
You don't.
So then I ask you also, would it be our maybe pride as maybe a culture that sometimes limit us? Because other cultures are more comfortable asking for money. They will sit outside your house and be like, yo, I need, I need some, and we give to them, even things as simple as girls. I think that we have the money. I think we have
The
the
only
resources.
place we give black people is at the church. We give to that collection plate. Yeah, that collection plate comes down,
And-
you give, but you know
and you
what?
never
The
see-
storehouse ain't always open
And
in
it's
the
usually
church.
never open
You know?
if you absolutely, like if you need a light bill. I mean, we don't necessarily have that, but we do
I ain't
have a
gonna
building
lie,
fund.
you know.
So for a building that you didn't even put, like you didn't even choose that building. So, but no, I digress. But I am saying that sometimes as a community, we have to have less pride and ask more questions or ask for things and be really willing to put ourselves out there to
Be
get the resources
resourceful.
we need, because the resources are out there. It doesn't matter whose hand it's coming from. Like, if you want it, go get it. Get it.
Be
All right, good. Are we
Well,
tired of
that
talking?
wraps it up. We are out of here. Check us out. Like, subscribe on the Facebook. What's the Facebook?
The Black Pew Crew.
We need to say that with a
right.
little more confidence.
On IG. Is that
The
is-
_Black _Pew _Crew. I didn't put
Can we have
the underscore in there.
Can you try that again? Was that really what
Let's
it
try
is?
again.
Yeah.
So the Black Pew Crew on Facebook, the Black Pew Crew on Instagram, the _Black _Pew Crew, and then
Yeah, we're gonna put this. It's gonna be underneath
it right
the
here.
video.
I need the Shaq. I need the Shaq bouncing ball caption
You can,
underneath this.
yeah.
That's
I
what
think
I
we need to do
need.
that.
Yeah.
Keep them all the same on
Yeah, we
across
can
all the
keep- yeah.
platforms.
Well, they are, but the thing is that Instagram don't allow you to just write Black Pew Crew. You have to do underscore. So that's boom.
Well, you
Drop a
can
clue
if
block for that.
the was capitalized.
No,
It's
it
not.
still won't let you underscore the whole. I tried to do the black. You don't want it
Just
one
the-
word. You don't
Yeah.
want it
Oh,
one
really?
word.
Instagram be like,
You don't want it one
Instagram
word.
be like, nah.
Yeah, so that's why I had to do it that
Change
way.
it up.
I'm thinking. Thinking.
What
But
the
check
attacking,
check
you
us
know?
out
Just
on
trying to,
Facebook,
keep it uniform. So it's easy.
Instagram, the Twitter machine, YouTube as well.
On the
We
Twitter.
we are starting YouTube. Same Black Pew Crew, and soonly dropping content soon.
Yep. So check us out. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it. And we are out of here.
We love Alicia.
I be
I love
forgetting
her.
we
That
are-
is my dog.
People gonna
my
see
road
us.
dog.
And get your Black Crew merch. You know what I'm saying? We got the hoodies coming. We got the fitteds coming. You feel me?
What other color?
I want it
what other
first.
color? I want a different color though. I'm gonna do
I
like
think
that.
we should
We
do.
gonna get
I
the-
think we
hey,
should
we
do
need to
white,
get
black,
the
and red.
red.
Nah,
and
we
then
need to
have
get
the
the
black.
mask too. We got to get the mask.
I'm finna
Yeah.
get the Black Pew Crew grill. I'm finna get the bottoms. The black
Really?
Pew. Yeah.
I kind of thought about that though. For
Yeah, I'm gonna
that
get
would
the
be kinda
diamond,
hot.
diamond cut. You feel me with a little crust of it. Hey,
Some
All right, we'll
dominoes
see
over
y'all
there.
later. Take it easy.
smile for me, daddy.
Again, I be forgetting that we are recording.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna have to edit me.
That was fun, Lisa. Why
No,
you do
I'm
me
not-
like that?
Why
Why
do
you
you
do
like
me
y'all be
like
doing
that?
each
You
other
really